Now that we have our running head completed, I'm going to just quickly go through generating the other sections of your APA paper in case you have any other questions on creating your title page, the body, or your reference page. So I'm back here on the title page right now. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of fill in what needs to be filled in for our title page. So I'm going to just bring this down one. So I moved the page breakdown. I also have my show formatting on, okay, so that we can see what's going on. These, when you turn on your show formatting, these are the non-printables. And if I'm marking your work, I will often turn on the show formatting. So let's center this because on our title page, the title and name and so on, they're all centered. So I'm going to bring it down one, and I'm going to type in here the title of my literature review. Okay. Next thing, I'm going to put in my name. Okay, so you'll put your name in after that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the course number. Okay, so for you guys, CIS 1150. In other classes, it could be BioSci or COM 1110. Whatever that course number is, it's important that you put that in. And then let's add the date. Okay, so again, this is just all dummy data. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at this. And as I stated already, this should all be Times New Roman. Now it's coming up in Calibri. That's just the default. So I'm going to change it to Times New Roman. And I'm going to change it to size 12. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in under paragraph, and I'm going to remove the spacing after. So I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to put in 0 for that. And then for the line spacing, I'm going to just go to double. And I'm going to say okay. All right. So that is my title page. Again, it's not really a pretty title page. There's a lot more you can do with Word that looks interesting, and I realize that, but it is kind of follows the APA formatting. So that's why we set it up that way. Okay. All right. So we now have our title page done and we have our running head done. So let's move on. If you remember in the previous video, I had already created the second page so that we could see how the running head was working. So I'm going to click into the second page. Now I want to go back because if you remember, you have to repeat the title. So I'm just going to take that. I'm going to select it. Okay. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to click in here on the paragraph mark. I'm going to center that and I'm going to paste it. All right. And now I'm going to just kind of check and see what I've got going here as far as our spacing and so on goes. So make sure again that we have everything set to 0 before and after, and we want to go with double spaced. Okay. And I'm going to go left align. Now, this is where I'm going to set up my indent. Okay, so if you remember, you want a first line indent. So let's take a look. There's two ways we can do it. We can do it through paragraph settings, okay, where it says indentation and special. I can do this. I can go to first line and go okay. Or I could have manually gone up here and just moved this across to first line indent. Either way is correct. It's just two different ways of doing it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring up some dummy data that I have. So I'll just select that. Okay. And now I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it into our pretend paper here. So I'm going to go paste. And okay, so it didn't take on that formatting. I probably should have put that in first. So I'm going to just select it all now. And then this time I'm going to manually apply the first line indent. And again, Times New Roman, size 12 font, back into paragraph. I'm going to set the line spacing to double. You're going to make sure this is 0. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Okay, so we have the beginning of our first page. Okay, I'll just deselect that so you can see it. All right, it's all double spaced. It has the first line indent, and we have the running head. Now, as I said, your title doesn't have any bold on it. If you start to use like headings, first level headings and second level headings, you're going to bold those. Okay, so let's say I wanted to start a new section here. Okay, so I'm going to center that. And let's say I write in here history of AI. Okay, then I would bold that. Okay, the only time I would then go to a next level heading where you have to left align is if I broke that down into sections. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to move into the third page. Okay, so I don't have any other dummy data. I'm just going to kind of assume that everyone's comfortable now with the setup. And now I'm going to put in my reference page. So let's go back to center align. We're going to type in references because I'm going to assume I'm going to have more than just one reference. And then I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to take it back out to the left align. Now I need to change my align or my indent. So if you remember before, I used a first line indent for the body. Now for the references, I have to use a hanging indent. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Again, I could have gone into the paragraph dialog box and chose hanging. If you do one or the other, it kind of automatically updates it in both areas. So I'm going to say okay to that. I want to make sure I'm set at double and no space after. Okay, I'll kind of do a little double check, and I typically do when I go back through everything. So how am I going to type in my reference? Okay, so let's just say I'm going to use my own information here. I'm going to type in my own Nicholson G dot year 2020 dot. Now I have to create an article title. So I'm going to call this the power of creating videos for learners. Okay, that's my article. Not really, I'm just kind of making this up. So notice I'm typing in an article title and I only capitalized the first letter of that article title. And that is typical, all right, unless you have some proper nouns in there or unless you have a colon. If that was separated by a colon, then the next letter would be uppercase as well. Okay. All right, so now I need to put in the name of my journal. So I'm going to call it the Holland College Journal. Okay, and then I'm going to put in a comma. And now I have to give my volume an issue number. Okay, so it might be volume 12, and then open bracket, it might be issue 2. Okay, so typically what the volume stands for is the year, and then the issue is like the number of that it comes out, how many times it comes out in the year. So sometimes it might come out monthly for a journal. Sometimes a journal might come out like twice a year. It might come out quarterly. So it just, the issue number can represent all different things. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to put in the page numbers. So I'm going to say 25 through to 36 and period. All right, so now what is wrong with this? What needs to be fixed up? Okay, so first of all, I need to go in and say Times New Roman. I need to go size 12 font. Okay, and now you can really actually see better what's happening with that first line indent. The other thing is the Holland College Journal, it needs to be italicized. So I'm going to italicize that. And the volume number needs to be italicized. So I'm going to italicize that. Okay, so those are the steps that you go through when you're creating your reference. Now, we also will be talking in class about, how you can use the library system to cite, and that will kind of help you get started with creating references. But sometimes you have to kind of use your own brain here and create your reference from scratch. So that's how you would do that. And that's what each part of the reference actually means. Okay, so because I did a first line or a hanging indent here, when I hit enter, it's automatically going to take me right back out to the left. Okay, so that's why you don't get into using tabs, because nothing is automatic then. And it's the same when I go to the body and I hit enter, it gives me that first line indent. So always try to use these applications to their full capability, because then you will actually probably have less errors. Notice also for the title page, I put in a page break. All right, that's important that you use page breaks. Try to avoid going enter, 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 enter all down the title page, because then it's really easy for things to get messed up, and then the first body of text starts creeping up into your title page. And I've had many students say, I don't know what happened. It was fine. If you actually put in that page break, you don't have to worry about that. Same thing when you come to the end of your text in your report, put in a page break before you go to your reference page. Okay? All right, so I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, again, let me know. But here's a good place for you all to start.